Good morning, students. In the previous classes, we had discussed about fundamental unit of life. In that, we had discussed different types of cells. So here, this is in this topic. That is, we are going to discuss about the next topic, that is tissues. In this topic, we are going to discuss about how these cells work together and how they, as they group together, how they will functions. So what is the structure, how these are organized in plants and animals. So we are going to discuss about the topic tissues. Okay. Now let's see that what is tissues. Let's define that tissues. Tissues are group of cells. Tissues are group of cells which have same origin, structure and function, and performs same function. Okay, so now look at, let's define tissues. These are group of cells which have same origin. Here the word origin refers to they have come from, means if you consider this is the mass of cells. So if you observe that they have come from the same origin, means same from a single cell. That is what we call same origin structure. So all the cells in a tissues, they have same structure and they perform same functions. So this is what we call tissues. So here we are going to discuss about tissues are how arranged in plants and animals. So here now we are going to discuss about tissues in plants. Let's see that what are the different types of tissues are present in the plant body. Let's write a brief classification of the tissues so that you will come to know how tissues are classified. So let's see that. So plant tissues. Okay, then it is classified into two types: simple So plant tissues broadly classified into two types: meristematic tissue and another one permanent tissue. So here this meristematic tissue, it is again further classified into three categories. It is based on the position of this tissue present in the plant body. So based on position, again we have three types. It includes apical meristem, intercalary meristem. Then next one, lateral meristem. Apical, intercalary, lateral. So these are the three types of meristems. Okay, this is the classification of meristematic tissue. Now coming to permanent tissues. So permanent tissues classified into two types. One is simple permanent tissue and another one complex permanent tissue. So again, the permanent tissue is again further classified into simple permanent and complex permanent. This simple permanent tissue, depending upon structure and function, it is again further categorized into, so they categorize into three types. This includes parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So there are three types. Simple permanent tissue further categorized into parenchyma, paren, P-A-R-E-N-C-H-Y-M-A, parenchyma. Then second type collenchyma, C-O-L-L-E-N-C-H-Y-M-A, collenchyma. Then third one sclerenchyma, S-C-L-E-R-E-N-C-H-Y-M-A, sclerenchyma. These are the three different types of simple permanent tissues. Then coming to complex, it is again consists of two types. One is xylem and another one is phloem. This is the classification of plant tissue. So this classification is very important one. So why? Because if you remember this classification, then it is easy for you to recall the concept very easily, and you can, at the time of test and exam, you can recall the concept very easily. That's why, so just go through this outline classification. Okay, once again, just I will tell about that. Plant tissues are broadly classified into two categories: meristematic tissue and another one permanent tissue. Then meristematic tissue again further classified into apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Similarly, permanent tissues classified into simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue further classified into parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and complex permanent tissues consists of xylem and phloem. This is the classification of plant tissues. Now first we will discuss about meristematic tissues. So look at the diagram, how to draw this meristematic tissues. This is the structure of meristematic tissue. So here, the one thing you have to observe while writing the diagram. So always you write the diagram towards the left side margin of the notebook. Okay, and all the labeling possible in all the cases, write in the right side, so that you will remember whatever the parts you have written, and whether you have left or not, you will come to know, or else you will forget some parts. That's why always try to write the labelings in the right side of your notebook, and diagram always towards margin, so that you will get plenty of space to write the neat diagram as well as to label. Okay, so keep these points in your mind while writing diagrams. Now coming to meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue, it is also called as meristem. Then let's see that where this meristematic tissue located in the plant body. So meristematic tissue, it is young embryonic cells, means they are immature cells, they have not grown up, so they are growing cells. Okay, so meristematic tissue, these are meristematic tissue is young immature cells have the capacity of dividing, you can add one more word, embryonic. So I will add one more, immature embryonic cells, which have the capacity of dividing, So this is about meristematic tissue. So they are young immature, means they are not grown up properly, they are small cells. Okay, and embryos means they are immature. So embryos means we see that in case of human beings, a small one, right? So in that you see that usually the growth rate, it is very high in small kids and babies than the adults. So like that, they are young immature embryonic cells which have the capacity of dividing, means they undergoes repeated division. So if they produce, again they will undergoes repeat dividing, like that. Once again dividing, produce new cells, again they undergoes repeated dividing, so that they produce a large number of cells. That is the nature of meristematic tissue. And here these tissue, they are always located in the growing regions of the plant body. This is very important one. These are always located in the growing region. So let's see that meristematic tissue, it is located in growing region. It is located in growing regions of plant body. Growing regions of plant body, such as tip of the root, stem and leaves. Tip of the root, stem and leaves. In these regions, these meristematic tissue, they are situated. Okay, this is about just a brief introduction regarding meristematic tissue. Then let's explain what is the structure of meristematic tissues. So let's see the structure of meristematic tissues. Okay, structure of meristematic tissues. So let's see that here each cell they are closely attached with one another cell. So the cells are closely and compactly arranged, and you don't find any spaces between the cells. So there is no intercellular space. So this is the first thing. The first character is cells are closely and compactly arranged. Closely and compactly arranged without any intercellular space. Without any intercellular space means you don't find any space between the cells. That is the meaning of intercellular space. Okay, this is the first point. Then how these meristematic tissues they are made up of? The plasma membrane or cell membrane, they are made up of mainly cellulose. So here they are made up of cellulose. Okay, and one more thing, you see that here these cells, as I say that there is no intercellular spaces, then whatever the contents they produce in a cell, they have to be transferred from one cell to another cell, and through that there will be small channels or an opening, and they are called as plasmodesmata. So we'll continue this one. The cells are interconnected. Cells are interconnected by cytoplasmic connections called plasmodesmata, called as plasmodesmata. This is the second point. And again, the cell is covered by plasma membrane, and plasma membrane structure we have already discussed in the first topic, fundamental of life. And we also know that each and every cell they are made up of, they are surrounded by cell wall. Okay, again cell wall is made up of cellulose. It's a common in case of plant cell. Then each cell inside that they contain large central vacuole and with plenty of cytoplasm. This is also important character. Each cell contains large nucleus. So it is located in central, so we have to write contain central large nucleus with plenty of cytoplasm. This is another characteristics. Okay, then you observe that usually the plant cells they are mainly identified by presence of vacuole. So vacuole, these are empty space present in the central part of the plant body. So let's recall that once again. If you consider plant cell, the central it is the vacuole. Okay, as the major portion of the cell is covered by the vacuole, so that the nucleus present in the periphery, cytoplasm, they are present in the periphery, right? Okay, but if you observe that in the case of meristematic tissue, there is no vacuoles at all, because they are undergoes continuous dividing. They do not possess vacuole. So the absence of vacuole, it is also one of the main characteristics of meristematic tissue. So next thing is that, so meristematic tissue does not contain vacuoles, or you can say that vacuoles are absent. So meristematic tissue does not contain vacuoles. Does not contain vacuole. So these are the structure of meristematic tissue. Then after discussing about structure of meristematic tissue, now next move on to the types of meristematic tissue. As we discussed that meristematic tissue, it is classified into three categories: apical, intercalary and lateral meristem. Okay, so let's see the structure. Okay, so this is the different types of meristematic tissue, and these different types of the tissue is depending upon the location in the plant body, and this includes apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. So these are the different types of meristematic tissue. So now let's see that about apical meristematic tissue. So apical meristematic tissue. Here apical, epi refers to tip, Means this is the meristematic tissue. They are always located in the growing region, that is the tip of the plant body, and they mainly helps in growing of the plant body, because so as this undergoes many dividing produces many cells, so it will help in increase in the length. It helps in increase in the length of the plant body. So let's write about the meristematic tissue. They are located, so they are located at the tip of the tip of the plant, and helps in increasing length of the plant body, and helps in increasing length of the plant, increasing the length of the plant. This is about apical meristem. Then second one, intercalary meristem. So these intercalary meristem, they are situated on either side of permanent tissues. You see that where they are located exactly. See that this apical meristematic tissue as producing many cells, okay, they help in increasing length, and those cells, they are at the bottom. So later on they get mature and they stop dividing and they form permanent tissues. Okay, so this is permanent tissue. Consider this is permanent tissue. Between the permanent tissue you will find that is intercalary, means they are means between. So they are present between the permanent tissues, hence it is called as intercalary meristem. So second type is intercalary meristematic tissue. So these are located on either side. These are located on either side of permanent tissues. On either side of permanent tissues. Then what is the help of it? Again, so as this part, that is intercalary, means at the base of the leaf or the branches, as they located at the base of a stem or a leaf, then they helps in increase in the internodal region, means in the, again it helps in increasing the length of the plant body. So it helps in increasing in the length. It helps in increasing in length of plant. Increasing in length of plant body. So this is about intercalary meristem. Then next one, lateral. This pink color one. This is the lateral meristem. So these lateral meristem, they are present along the length of the plant body. So they appear later in the growth of the plant. So here, as a plant they grow and grow, later the lateral meristem they appear, and finally as they undergoes dividing produces and more cells, and which helps in increase in the thickness or girth, means the diameter. So this is small plant. After dividing in the lateral way, so they start expanding. As they expand, the diameter also increases, right? So that's why they are called as lateral. They are present along the length of the plant body. So next one is lateral meristematic tissue. So So they are located along the length of plant. They are located along the length of plant and helps in increase in thickness or we can use another word for thickness, girth, or diameter, or you can use another word, girth. Girth of the plant body. So this is about the simple meristematic tissue. Okay. Then, so after all discussing about the meristematic tissue, then we can move on to a second type, that is permanent tissues. So let's see that, as I explained, these apical meristematic tissues, as they have the capacity, they undergo many repeated division. Ultimately, they produce a large number of cells. Okay, and as those cells which are obtained by the meristematic tissue, later they attain a definite shape, structure, and they undergo different functions. Okay, thus, as they have lost the capacity of dividing, hence they are called as permanent tissue. So permanent tissue, these are the cells obtained by the meristematic tissue. Okay, then let's discuss about what are the different types of permanent tissues. So let's define permanent tissues. These are mature, matured cells having definite shape, size, and function, lost the capacity of dividing. So this is very important one. They have lost the capacity of dividing. This is the most important characteristic feature of permanent tissues. So here these permanent tissues again further classified into 3 categories. So types of tissues, let's see that. Next, permanent tissue. As we have discussed in the classification, permanent tissues is again further classified into 2 categories, simple permanent and complex permanent. So now we are going to discuss about the first type, in that, say, simple simple permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues. So this simple permanent tissues again further classified into three categories. One is parenchyma, then collenchyma, and third one sclerenchyma. So these are the three different types of simple permanent tissues: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Now we will move on to first type, parenchyma. Let's see how the structure of the cells. Okay. Now let's see the structure of parenchyma. You see that these parenchyma cells, so they are either maybe a spherical shape or oval or polygonal. Polygonal means they have multiple facets. See that it has many faces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that, they have many different faces. They are called polygonal. Hexagonal. Say, I will show that. 1, 2, 3. You see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has 6 faces. It is hexagonal. If it is have 4 tetragonal, 5 pentagonal. If it is more than 6, it is called polygonal. Okay, like that, these cells, these parenchyma cells, they are either maybe either oval, spherical or polygonal in shape. Okay, so the first structure is the cells are either oval, spherical or polygonal in shape. And look at here, like unlike meristematic tissue, they have spaces between the cell. These spaces are called as intercellular spaces. So here cells are not compactly arranged. So the cells are loosely arranged with lot of intercellular space, So this is the main difference between meristematic and permanent tissue, that is in case of parenchyma. So here this parenchyma, it is a living tissue. So here the simple permanent tissue, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, usually they are called as mechanical tissue. Why they are called mechanical tissue means they provide strength to the plant body. So next point is, so let's see that how the cell wall is made up of. So here the cell wall is made up of cellulose. Cell wall is made up of cellulose only. This is the main characteristic feature of parenchyma. So as this is made up of only cellulose and the neighboring cells are interconnected by again cytoplasmic desmata, so this is the parenchyma is a living permanent tissue. Okay, it is living permanent, simple permanent tissue. So let's see that why it is called simple permanent tissue. This is parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. These are called simple permanent tissue because all these tissues, they are made up of only one kind of cells. You see that they are all made up of only one kind of cells, hence it is called as simple permanent tissues. Okay, then this is about the structure of a parenchyma. And one more, so in addition we can extend the structure also. See that they have a large central vacuole, and because of that nucleus and cytoplasm is towards the periphery. So this is another feature you can add to the parenchyma. Now coming to functions. So functions of parenchyma. So here the main role of this parenchyma is, it is storage. So here the functions of parenchyma is mainly acts as a storage tissue. it stores the food substance. Then where it is actually located? So if you see the section of a stem, a leaf, whatever, just below the epidermis. So then only you can come to know that below that the permanent tissue, that is parenchyma, is located. So this parenchyma as a storage house of storage tissue, and sometimes in leaf it contains chloroplast, and those parenchyma which contain chloroplast, they are called as chlorenchyma, and these chlorenchyma, they helps in synthesis of food. Okay, so parenchyma containing chloroplast, involved in photosynthesis, Okay, this is another role. Then next one is some parenchyma, usually in aquatic plants. So in the aquatic plants, these parenchyma, they contain space in them. Those are called aerenchyma. So they help in buoyancy. Buoyancy means floating. You might observe that some plants, they float on the water. This is because of the presence of aerenchyma. So then in this case, what do you call that? Parenchyma containing chloroplast, they are called as chlorenchyma. Just note on this one. This is called chlorenchyma. Then in case of aquatic plant, in aquatic plants, okay, so here parenchyma having space are called aerenchyma. They are called as aerenchyma. Aerenchyma helps in buoyancy, of plants. Okay, this is another role of parenchyma. And one more role is that these parenchyma cells, they may associated with xylem and phloem, helps in transport of water and food substances. So parenchyma associated with xylem, associated with xylem and phloem, helps in transportation of water and food substances. So here, while studying xylem and phloem, you will come to know about that. So those parenchyma which is associated with xylem, it is called xylem parenchyma, and they mainly help in this xylem parenchyma, they mainly helps in transportation of water and minerals. And those are which are associated with phloem, they are called as phloem parenchyma, and this phloem parenchyma, they helps in transportation of food substances. Okay, so here these are some of the structure and functions of the simple component, that is parenchyma. So in the next class, we'll discuss about remaining types of tissues. Thank you.